Bordeaux with a second half blitz as they put away Ulster. My name's Mark, let's talk rugby. Bordeaux, really quick start from them. They go to the corner from a penalty in after about 2 minutes, I think it is. They have a dummy pod at the tail, but they actually throw on the ground to the front. The maul then just drives over without much defence really from Ulster. Who's it? Tatafu, I think was the score. Yeah, he was the scorer. Converted from out wide by former Munster out half Joey Carberry for 7-0. Bordeaux then pinged for playing the scrum half the breakdown. Ulster up the line into 22. Spread it from right to left, but Zach Ward is forced into touch. But then Bordeaux overthrow the line out. Ulster recycle. And, a number of times they're in the shadow of the post. And Isichukwu drives over to score. Converted for 7 points all. And honestly, Ulster need more players like Isichukwu just to give them that, bit of a lift and give them more go forward. Another player who I thought was good was Postlethwaite, who picks and goes through a gap, offloads to Doak, and gets them into the 22. But as they go wide, they knock it on. And at this stage, at least, the performance is more encouraging than last week, where they were just there against Toulouse, a really good Toulouse side. Also then forced their way back into 22. 2 good carries from McCluskey in, to get them there. But Bordeaux managed to get over the ball and win a penalty. Bordeaux so good at the breakdown. And, Ulster not kind of learning through the game. And that's very frustrating with Ulster and with Ireland and other Irish provinces as well. When teams target them at the breakdown, they're very slow to actually realise that they need, to actually secure the ball. And again, there's no point in having an extra guy out in a pod if you're not actually going to get the ball back, or if the ball's going to be really slow. Bordeaux then win a scrum penalty after a really big shove from them. They were, on top of the scrum for much of the game. Their line out wasn't that great though. But the kick to the corner, not the best kick, honestly. They're 10 metres out. I thought that, Carberry could have put them about 5 metres out. They mess up another line out, and Isichukwu bursts out of the 22 and kicks it downfield. And then Ulster's chasers do really well because they forced Biel Berry to step into touch. Ulster's line out, though, isn't that clean, and it strips them of momentum. Postlethwaite does, though, make a break to within a few metres of the line. Gazzotti sticks out an arm. Just as Ulster were looking to recycle and go wide, so he goes to the bin for that. Bordeaux then give away a penalty for offside after Ulster tap and go, and they're given a warning by the referee. Ulster then do tap and go again. Timmy picks. He's basically like at a ruck, maybe a metre out from the line. He's actually looking to pass it out wide. And as he looks, he realizes there's no defense in front of him. So you can see his body kind of turns to the left towards where he's going to pass the ball. And he just picks the ball up and kind of spins and goes over to score. Converted by Doak, 14-7, Ulster in the lead. Ulster then off the breakdown. Carberry goes up the line into the 22. Bordeaux go to the maul. They shift the point of attack. Excuse me. They shift point of attack a couple of times. Most of Ulster defence, is shed at that point. And then they've got a penalty for collapsing. It splinters. They go over in the corner. We have a TMO check. Ball is lost forward in the corner, but it's a penalty try anyway. And McCann goes to the bin, so we're at 14 all. Ulster then attack off a scrum at 22. They're about 5 metres out when they win a penalty. Porot, he goes to the bin for kicking the ball out of the ruck. And we also have a TMO check for high tackle in the previous play by Fofana on Timoney. It's shoulder to head, but there's mitigation because Timoney was already being tackled by Gazzotti. So there was a drop in height, and that actually dropped it from red card to yellow. And I have to say, I agree with that. Ulster don't look after the ball then, and Bordeaux drive over the top before kicking it clear. Really like silly from Ulster there, just make sure that you get the ball back, and they can't do it. Zach Ward then runs it back. Ulster spread it, but Bordeaux over the ball again, and they win a penalty. And again, just the aggression from them at the breakdown, targeting Ulster when they either lack numbers or the player who's there is just kind of hanging around rather than actually protecting the ball. Ulster, though, win a penalty for a seatbelt tackle on Zach Ward as he was making a break. They go up the line into the 22. We're coming up to half time at this stage. Ulster spread it from that line out. Lowry almost gets through on the right. Great covering tackle. I think it was from Retterie. Just about prevented him. One of these was where he really busts himself to go back, and then just around the ankle to tackle him. But Ulster then go back to the left, and Morgan sends Werner Koch over to score. Conversions missed. It's 19-14 at a half time, and much improved from Ulster in that first half. Into the second half, though, Bordeaux, they attack wide with BLBRE. Koch takes him down, but he does manage to offload. Lowry gets into the passing channel to prevent a possible try. Decent defence from Ulster there, but Bordeaux already looking, dangerous. And Bordeaux actually managed to get Lowry into touch as well. But then they concede a scrum at the free kick after the line out. Ulster then, a few things go their way at this stage. They win a penalty at the subsequent scrum. Bordeaux then, they look to turn up the pressure in the opening 10 minutes of the half, but Ulster were able to kind of weather that. They've got a bit of momentum, but then just as you think, Ulster might actually, score and get a bit of a buffer, they're not straight at the line out. And then Bordeaux just completely ripped that momentum back from them. Bordeaux look to attack from the scrum. There is a clear forward pass in there. And at this stage, again, Bordeaux looking a little bit frustrated, and you're feeling like the next score is going to be really big for the outcome of the game, because Bordeaux are at that point where if Ulster do get 2 scores ahead, that frustration could start to boil over. But at the same time, if Bordeaux get their tails up, it could go the other way. Ulster on attack then, but they're going backwards. It's just very aggressive defence from Bordeaux. Bordeaux managed to get it back, and then they come forward themselves. They tie in the Ulster defence and make them very narrow, in that 22, and then they go wide right, and Pernod basically has a walk in to score in the corner. Wasn't really in the game in the first half, but he had a big influence in that second half. Carby then lands the conversion, and he gestures towards the crowd beside him because they were less than the usual silent that you might expect in Ireland for a kicker. So that's just having a bit with them. So it's 21-19 at that stage. Bordeaux then, and I think he went off then. Garcia come on, I think. Bordeaux then come again, get Pernod into space on the edge. He gives a lovely offload, behind his back to Petit, who kind of just shrugs off a tackle and goes over for the bonus point try. That's converted for 28 points to 19. Bordeaux just taking complete control of the game. Then they seal the victory, and this time Ulster were on attack. They're in the 22, looking to get themselves back in the game, but they get turned over. Mo Fana takes it out of the 22. They move it wide left. Deportier finds Garcia, and then he puts Bielbarri away, and over he goes to score. Really well worked try for them. Lovely hands. Suspicion of maybe a forward pass in there somewhere, but you can't be checking every single angle on every single pass, especially with super tries like this as well. Conversion goes over off the post, 35 points to 19. Then Ulster, they know they can't win the game, but they're trying to run it from their own 22 because if they get another try, at least to get a bonus point from the game. But Bordeaux force an error. Then they come forward in that 22 on the front foot. Some strong carries, gets them close to the line. And then Boniface grounds on the line. Conversions missed. 40 points to 19 is the full-time score. Let's have a quick look at the stats before we talk a little bit about the teams. So tries, 3 tries for Ulster, 6 for Bordeaux. And Ulster didn't score a point in that second half either. And at home, even against very strong opposition, you'd expect your team, to be, scoring something in the second half. Then kicking success, 67% for Ulster and 80% for Bordeaux. On attack, meters made, 481 for Ulster and 323 for Bordeaux. So, Ulster doing, fairly decently. And if you look at the number of carries, 160 to 105, both making, round about 3 meters. Bordeaux slightly over 3 meters per carry as well. So, positive certainly for Ulster. Clean break 6 to 7. Defenders beaten 29 to 23, and then offloads 10 to 9. So again, Ulster doing some good things in attack, but they didn't have that ability of Bordeaux to just be ruthless and finish moves off, and that really cost them. Passes then 178 to 120. Possession 58% for Ulster to 42, and territory 60 to 40. So much more the ball and much more the territory, but again, just lacking a cutting edge at crucial times. And Bordeaux were just so sharp in comparison. Defense then, tackles made 101 to 167. Ulster tackling 74%. Bordeaux at 79, which is one of the highest I think we've seen so far this weekend. Turnovers 1 then, 7 for Ulster, 12 for Bordeaux. Again, just so aggressive at the breakdown. And, they ended so many Ulster attacks. And then that quickness in transition as well made them so dangerous as well as soon as they got that turnover. Lineouts then, 8 for Ulster for 80% and 12 for Bordeaux, 86%. But the ones that went badly for Bordeaux, one, they kind of messed up a potential score for themselves, and another one that they messed up gave Ulster a try as well. So, sometimes even if your set piece goes well, most of the time, if it goes wrong in crucial times, it can still be seen as a bit of a liability. Scrums then, Ulster 7 from 7, 100% on their own ball. Bordeaux 7 for them as well, but only 88%. But looking at that, you'd think just at the stats that Ulster were dominant in the scrums, but it was it was even, and I'd say that Bordeaux for the most part had a bit more of the of not really dominance, but certainly a bit of an edge, I think, in the scrum overall. Kicking then, 15 kicks from hand to 17. Ulster making 399 meters to 509 for Bordeaux. So Bordeaux obviously, a little bit clever in their kicking than Ulster. Kicks retained 2 each. At the breakdown then, Rooks won 113 to 71. Rooks lost 3 for Ulster and 1 for Bordeaux. Again, Ulster not looking after the ball at crucial times. Rooks success 94 to 97. And then Mauls, just 1 for Ulster, 100% for them. 7 for Bordeaux, 86%. But the mauls that they had that went well were, I think, for them, more impactful, especially the one that led to that penalty try and yellow card as well. Meters made from the maul then, just 1 for Ulster and 6 for Bordeaux. Onto discipline then, 12 penalties conceded by Ulster. If you're getting into double figures, there's definitely improvement needed there. Bordeaux 7, but they did concede 3 yellow cards. So although overall discipline, good in terms of the penalty count, still 3 yellow cards is a lot. But they managed those yellow card periods very well. Ulster with that 1 yellow card, after the penalty try was awarded. Okay, so let's start then with Ulster in terms of just overall, showed more ambition certainly this week, and looked improved, but still a ways to go for them to be able to compete at this level. I think just the rest of the pool stages will be kind of a learning process for them as a group. It feels like they definitely need another year with Richie Murphy to see where the team is going, and to kind of maybe bring in a few more new faces as well. Bordeaux, very aggressive with the breakdown, keeping Ulster under pressure for most of the game, and that ability to transition from defence to attack cut Ulster out, on numerous occasions. Scored a burst of tries as well, and Ulster just had no response to them. And, looking really good like they did last year in the pool stages. For them, I think this year it's about, can they produce in the knockouts as well, and go as far as that undoubted ability that they have says that they might be able to. We'll have to kind of watch the space for them, I think. But that's the end of that one. Let me know what you think down in the comments.